Hey, sorry for the interruption, but we wanted to let you know that this week's episode is brought to you by Spotify for Podcasters. Really cool app. Josiah and I use it for every single show that we bring to you every week. You can edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so you can start creating as soon as you log into the platform. You can easily distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else the podcasts are heard, just like we do every single week. You can also create video podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. And of course, you can earn money like I'm doing right now by including ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We really love it. We use it every single week. So we encourage you to go download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, let's get back to the show.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. Each week, join Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print on demand industry and equip you with the tools, advice, and strategy you need to achieve success and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now, on to this week's show.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Print on Demand Cast. As always, this is Josiah, and I am joined by Travis Ross. Travis, how's it going, man? Once again, in your palatial estate, it looks like, on the beach. Right on the beach. So how's that going for you? I'm a little jealous.
Well, you know, after a busy Q4, I like to get away. No, actually, we're right in the middle of Q4.
Right in the middle of Q4, I like to just run
so
away.
I'm not away.
I'm overwhelmed, and I retreat. I retreat to...
Yeah, I mean, would I prefer to be on the beach in a really nice house? Yes, but I wouldn't be making the money that I'm making right now. Can I get an amen?
Well, you wouldn't be able to afford that house if you just ran away and went and hung out on the beach. People don't know.
You're right.
People don't know unless we, I guess, peek behind the curtain. We're testing some new video recording software to add a video element, maybe, to this podcast. So if this drops in video form, you will know that it's actually just a green screen, and you can see the Getty stock image on the left-hand corner of Travis's background. And know that it's not quite, things are not quite as they seem. So, yeah, anyway, how's things going, Travis? You mentioned we're in the middle of Q4, and you couldn't have said a more truer statement. How is things going for you and Make Your Mark and your new business model right now in the thick of Q4?
Yeah, it's going well. We're busy, obviously. It's interesting because a lot of times we pre-record these things, a few weeks even. I think at one point we had like 4 of these in the can, so it was like a month before they actually released. But this one is actually, I mean, it's right now Saturday. It's December 5th. Yeah, it's Saturday, December 5th, and I think this is getting released on Wednesday. And so we're really close to the time when we actually release it, so we can kind of I'm fully expecting by Wednesday it's even going to be crazier. I was literally just looking at some sales numbers right before we pressed record, and Monday is going to be really, really busy, which I'm very thankful for. But I'm sleeping well every single night because I'm exhausted by the end of the day, as I'm sure you can relate. How are things going for you over there?
Things are, of course, just crazy busy, just trying to keep up with the demand. Black Friday was really, really good for us. I'm sure it was for you guys, too. Got a lot of stuff coming in. Have some Etsy clients that are literally, I can guarantee Monday morning we'll run the order summary for one of our Etsy clients, and she'll have sold another 25 to 30 pages of stuff. And that's the way it's been every Monday for the past 3 or 4 Mondays. I mean, she's just killing it. We have another guy that just launched. He's a TikTok personality, and he opened the store yesterday, and he's got like 150 orders already. So it's going to be, Monday's going to be nuts. But that's a good thing. Again, otherwise, if we weren't busy, we wouldn't be making the money that we are going to be able to make, which is exciting. So, but as a little, I guess, before we get into the main portions of the show, to kind of break up the monotony of of Q4, my father-in-law and I, Jason, who I run it's really weird calling him my father-in-law, and I didn't need to do that because there's no context needed. I could have just said Jason, the guy I run the business with, but I didn't. We went to Aurora last night at 6:30 to go to In-N-Out. We went to In-N-Out Burger because it's new there, and we stood in line for an hour and a half, which was better than the 4.5-hour wait that would have come through the drive-thru. But
that's nuts.
Yeah, so that's what we did last night. We got there at 6:30, and we got our food. We got in the door probably around, I don't know, 7:45, 8 o'clock ish. Got home like at 10:30. I don't know. It was worth it almost. You always feel bad.
Yeah, but was it though?
I mean,
was it really worth it?
In-N-Out's always worth it. Because it's really weird. We had this discussion last night. Like, how do you explain that there's not really anything super extraordinary about In-N-Out, but there's something extraordinary about In-N-Out? Like, how do you communicate that?
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox. And to those people that say Whataburger is better, you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. You can be wrong. But I will never. I've had Whataburger, and I might as well have been eating a McDouble from the McDonald's. So there was really nothing special about it to me, compared to In-N-Out.
Them's fighting words.
I know, and I'm sure.
Like Texans are like they're like really pissed at you right now.
And it's okay. The southern demographic of our listeners is going to be a little outraged, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because In-N-Out is better. And you can voice your displeasure. Find us on social media, printondemandcast.com. Email us. Let us know what is better and why it's better.
I just don't think. I mean, I agree. I like In-N-Out. In-N-Out is good, but I just don't think it's an hour and a half good. Well, or 2 hours.
What else do we? I mean, what else do you do on a Friday night? Well, there's nothing to do. Everything's locked down. People are not allowed to do anything with their lives anymore.
That is true. So go stand outside in the cold in Colorado.
Where they want you to have Christmas too, by the way, outside in Colorado, and just be cold because everything else is shut down. So, but yeah, it was a good time. Will I do it again anytime soon? No, probably not.
Yeah, let's just we should go, but let's like wait a few months to when we can like just roll up, get out of our car, walk in, order, and be done in 30 minutes. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, the next time I'll go, I have some family that are probably going to come down for New Year's Eve who've never had In-N-Out Burger, and so we might make the trek. And hopefully by that time, it's still not quite as long of a wait. But I'm guessing that'll be the next time I do that again. But yeah, I'm all about doing it the normal way of just going to the drive-thru and getting your food and going home. Or, we could
like
go
every other restaurant in Colorado.
We could go there and do like a on remote episode on location. We're waiting in line and just ask people questions about the direct to garment print industry and see what they say while we're waiting in line for our food.
That's a great idea.
I think that'd be pretty funny. I would be in favor of that. So, so enough about delicious cheeseburgers. What do we have in store today, Travis? What is this week's point of interest?
Point of interest.
Well, this week's point of interest is a little different than weeks past because before we had a long conversation before we actually pushed record, and we were just kind of swapping stories about what's going on in our businesses. And one of the things that was kind of a theme, at least at first, was just what we're going to call apparel rants. Because getting apparel right now in this country, because of COVID, because of Q4, it's the availability is shockingly difficult right now. And so we were just swapping stories and talking about how COVID really has knocked out a lot of the supply for what we're doing. And I'm actually curious. I mean, we're going to swap some stories here, but I'm also curious about it from our listeners if they're seeing this, even if they're like just doing drop shipping. Maybe there's like certain colors or certain sizes, certain styles or whatever that they're having problems getting, just even drop shipped, because I really do feel like it's industry wide. I know you guys have been seeing that too, right, Josiah?
Yeah, I was telling you before we pressed record, like my Mondays are consumed recently with me scouring the corners, the four corners of the vendor internet, which is to say, TSC, Sanmar, SNS, Activewear, and what's the fourth one that I'm blanking right now? Alpha Broder. Yes, I am just searching, especially back in October. It was crew neck sweatshirts. Crew neck sweatshirts could not be found for the life of me. And in talking to my rep at TSC Apparel, she was saying, "Yeah, we don't really expect to get stock back until February of 2021. Gildan's so behind the eight ball, they can't keep up. We can't make orders." And meanwhile, we have clients that are selling this stuff that we obviously it's hard to keep track of inventory availability from your supplier if something changes, overnight or over the course of 2 or 3 days. And it's been maddeningly, is that a word? Maddeningly frustrating to try and find anything. So I'm curious as to, what's your process in ordering now? Are you just bulk ordering? Because I am. When I find something in stock, I'm like, "Hey, Jason, I'm ordering as many of these as I can ever because I can't rely on doing a one-off anymore. I've got to order in bulk now."
Yeah, which ordering in bulk does keep your shipping costs down because most of these companies have like a threshold of if you reach, $200, $250, whatever it is. Different companies have different thresholds, but you can get free shipping, so that's nice. But you're also putting cash out there that isn't coming right back in because it's sitting on your shelves in the form of inventory. Yep. But I'm like you. It's been a different item, every time, and so we're doing DTG, and so you hoodies have been the pain in the butt for me. Yeah. Black hoodies, trying to find 100% cotton black hoodies because it's hard to DTG on a 50-50, like 50% polyester, 50% cotton. It's just not as vibrant because the poly doesn't absorb the ink the way the cotton does. That's, just basically kind of a DTG thing. And I know there are some, so we have only been doing cotton, mainly cotton-based DTG. I know there are some options out there for some poly-based pre-treats that allow you to print on poly. And I'm at the point where my Monday morning is most likely going to be ordering, a small quantity of that just to start testing. Because I know right now, obviously, we need a ton of stock for Q4 orders, but I don't anticipate this like stopping, Christmas is here. Well, we're fully stocked again. I don't think it's going to happen like that. This is going to move into, like your rep told you, some of these styles aren't coming back till February. So we're going to be dealing with this. So if I can also DTG some 50-50 blends and have some options there because I've done my testing, I'm going to bite the bullet and even test right now in the middle of Q4 just so I can basically have more options to order different products because, man, it's just not there. I couldn't find a 3XL black hoodie that was 100% cotton to save my life the other day.
Honestly, the plus sizes, especially anything above XL lately for me, not just in hoodies, but including hoodies, crew necks, T-shirts, whatever. When I had someone reach out to me recently and say that they wanted to do a custom order of 5XL shirts, and I was like, listen, I'd love to help you. I'm going to have to put a line into my rep to see if she can tell me what 5X shirts are available because I don't know the brands I know of. They just don't exist. Soft styles don't go up that high. You're going to have to go to a Gildan 5,000, 2,000, whatever. And they're very particular about wanting a soft style shirt. And I was like, well, it's going to be a needle in a haystack scenario. So I'm just going to see what I can find. But it's insane. Yeah. Plus sizes, all of it are just crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of kind of quality of shirt, one of the things that we also want to bring in, to this little apparel rant session is kind of that quality, the premium quality shirt, and some of the comparisons, because you even wrote it in our notes. It seems as though people consider Bella Canvas to be like the Apple of t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's like they're the premium and they're the cool hip style that everybody wants, particularly on Etsy.
Yep.
It's like if you're not selling a Bella Canvas on Etsy, you are not in the cool kids club. Have you felt that? I mean, you guys fulfill for people that do Etsy shops and things like that. Are you seeing that
yeah,
trend?
It's wild because, and we were telling you, but this was actually, we had an idea for like a bonus video content, something. But if you take Next Level and a Bell on Canvas and you rip the tearaway tags off of them and you hand them to these
Etsy
clients and say, find the Bell on Canvas, they're not going to be able to tell. Because they're the same shirt. It's like, that's why I call it the Apple of shirts. You're paying a lot for the brand name, but the quality is just as good as, the Android version, which would be Next Level. American Apparel. Bella Canvas soft style, or not Bella Canvas, sorry, Gildan soft style is just as good, just as comparable. In some cases, for me personally, I like the way the Gildans fit better, the soft styles, than I do the Bell and Canvas. Bell and Canvas always seems a little snug, which it's a preference thing. Yeah. But yes, people are, always wanting, Bell and Canvas is the brand, and trying to talk them off that ledge is a process to let them know, like, hey, look at the data here. Like it's the same material composition. It's the same manufacturing process. It's literally just, which is kudos to Bella and Canvas for being able to get the corner on that and make the perception be that they are the highest quality shirt that you can get. The premium. Yeah. Kudos to them. But yeah, it's funny having those conversations with people.
Yeah. And it also makes it very, very difficult when we're in like this global supply chain issue. Bella is having just as many hard, problems getting their stock out there than all the other companies. And so what I recommend to print on demand, my print on demand customers and people that I know in print on demand, don't put on your listing that you send Bella Canvas. Don't put on your listing that you send Next Level.
Don't pigeonhole yourself that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't pigeonhole yourself, because what if you can't get that style in that size or in that color? What do you do then? Do you cancel the order, or do you send a Next Level that's exactly the same?
You have to reach out to the customer.
Exactly the same shirt.
Them, hey, and then have that conversation. Or Jason and I were having this conversation earlier with that Etsy client I was talking about earlier, of just saying, hey, put premium 100% ring spun cotton t-shirt in your description. Right. Don't put a brand name on it. Don't put that. Because you're just putting yourself and your supplier and your manufacturer, your fulfillment partner in a bind when you are trying to get them to produce a specific brand. And this is something that is really just one of those things for me that is an unexpected collateral damage situation due to COVID. I for some reason, when the lockdowns and stuff were announced at the first round, I never, for whatever reason, had the thought that it would affect the supply chain for what we do. And so if you're out there and you're listening, and you're a fulfillment partner, or you have a fulfillment partner, or you're a customer that's shopping, please extend grace to the people that are doing this process, because I know myself, and as are you, Travis, we're breaking our backs trying to figure out suitable replacements for these things that just aren't being able to be found at the moment.
Right. It's taking so much more time to order than it was even, a month ago, especially like pre-COVID or early COVID. It was so much easier. Like here last year to this year, there weren't stock issues. I know you guys get your stuff from TSC, which is they do have a facility here in Denver. We get a lot of stuff from TSC too. Right. And that was pretty much your only supplier for apparel, at least as far as I understand, because they had everything. You didn't need to go to Sanmar or Alpha Broder or S&S Activewear or any of the other guys.
And because they're so close. Like we've had that discussion. Like we can order something by 5:00 on a Tuesday and get it the next day.
Yeah,
And
they
so-
ship fast. Yeah, it's awesome.
And so now we have to manage expectations a little bit, which is sometimes a hard conversation to have with people. Like, listen, I know we said 5 to 10, but we're going to have to push it out to 10 to 14 or whatever, just because, like, even now from TSC, I'll order stuff. I order stuff from Oregon and California a week and a half ago that showed up on my door yesterday.
Yep.
Like, the lead times are shot to hell. Like,
I know.
It's not just a 3-day, 4-day turnaround like it used to be. Now it's like a hurry up and wait scenario. So now I'm again managing expectations, and it's super, super hard to do when none of this is in our sphere of control. You know, it's like there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing for us. I put it in order on Tuesday morning from Alpha Broder. And normally the stuff, it ships same day or the next day, and then it takes a couple days, depending on which warehouse it's coming from.
Right.
But I checked yesterday afternoon, and those orders were still in picking. They had not even shipped yet. And I'm like, and I put in a second order since then. So I have like 2 orders at Alpha Broder, one from Tuesday, one from Friday. I have no idea when I'm going to get that stuff, So I have customers waiting. Like you said, managing expectations during this time is almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yep. Yeah. It's hard. So all of that to say, I think this was cathartic for us to just have an Apparel Rants. This might be a recurring, maybe an alternating segment. Point of interest 1 week, Apparel Rants the next week. We'll see what happens. But just have patience out there. And if you're a fulfillment partner for people that you're listening, you understand the struggle. But it is something that for some reason customers, and fulfillment partners alike didn't think that it would be a ramification of COVID, but it certainly is. It certainly is.
I'll say one more thing. I was talking to Mike actually the other day about this stuff, and one thing that he pointed out was it's very possible that like a Merch by Amazon or a Zazzle or somebody that has a massive buying power, basically saw this coming and said, "I'll take all of the black 100% cotton hoodies that you have, Gildan or Next Level, or whoever they, and so all of us guys that are just fighting for table scraps, all the smaller guys, are kind of just out there, trying to figure it out and trying to make the best of it.
That's a great point, because I had a conversation with a client of ours, and he wants to launch hoodies and Nerds Clothing, who I think I've referenced a couple times here on the show. He wants to launch a lot of his stuff that he's doing onto hoodies, and I had to tell him, like, listen, man, here's the price we can do, but also I need to bring your attention to the fact that availability is shot, and it might be that way regardless of where you go at the moment. But then again, Merch by Amazon's the Printfuls. I'm not too sure if Printful does it all in house or if they outsource their fulfillment to other print on demand companies as well. But
I think Printful does it all in house. Printify shoots it out to other places.
That's right. Okay, so maybe Printful was one of them too that again saw it coming and they just bulk purchased. Because they have that buying power. So, it'll be interesting to see how things continue to develop in this particular area of business, and I can only hope, a man can hope, that things are going to get a little bit easier as things go on. But anything else, Travis, for this week's point of interest or apparel rant, as it were?
No, I think that's about it. Just if you are a drop shipper, maybe this helped you have a little insight into what your suppliers or what your production partners are going through.
For sure. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we will transition out in the best way we know how, and that is with a bumper, a sound cue for this week's main event.
Main event? Who's calling?
So the main event this week, Travis, something that is important, especially during Q4, to have a good hold on, have a good grip on, and have a good system, in place to do it. And we're talking about odor, not odor. Man,
Odor.
That was surprisingly hard to say. Order flow management. I don't know what just happened. I need to check. I need to take my pulse to see if I had a stroke there for a second. But no, order flow management, not odor flow. Although you probably manage that good too. If we had a sponsor, it'd be a perfect segue to like Axe or Old Spice, but we don't. Order flow management, Travis, talk to us a little bit about, the process, starting with the channels where customers can buy items and how you kind of get all of those orders. If you're selling on multiple channels, Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, Wayfair, blah, 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 how you get all those things into one spot to begin the order flow process.
Yeah. So we kind of pre-gamed this a little bit, and we've got this order flow management broken down into, a few different bullet points, if you will. And obviously the channels is the first thing. And then once the customer actually purchases the item, so you might be selling on Amazon and Etsy and your own Shopify store and, Walmart and Wayfair or whatever. It doesn't necessarily matter because if you're selling on that channel, you're going to be either checking that channel every day, or you're going to have set up some type of production flow to where all of those channels flow into one place that you can like easily see all of your orders that you have. Right. So it starts with the channels, and then it gets into your production flow, your actual, like how you're going to fulfill it or make this product or get it made or whatever. Right. Then it moves into fulfillment. Then it moves on to, tracking that order, returns, refunds, customer service, and then we jokingly said at the very end, when you get that return, you can throw the package against the wall in disgust. Not necessarily recommended if it's a coffee mug, but
no,
especially a hoodie, if it happens, probably get away with it.
There's always the instances where, for us, and you can probably attest to the same thing. You'll get a return and you'll open it and there's nothing wrong with that item. And so in your frustration, you may be tempted to throw it, but don't, because it's still perfectly a good mug. You can resell it next time that item sells or whatever, or however you handle that process. But yeah, you're usually tempted to just chuck it. So,
so once you've got your channels, you got your sale, it moves into that production flow, that first phase of the order flow. Yeah. And it's kind of a mixed bag. Depending on your business model, how this portion of the order flow happens, because if you're drop shipping, obviously it looks different than if you're in-house, Sure. So if you're drop shipping, you may be logging into Etsy and you see, I've got 5 new orders or whatever. Right. And then you need to take those orders, either sometimes maybe for some of you it's manually. You're going to literally copy and paste the orders into your, production partner's fulfillment website or email or however you do that. Sure. And get all of the art and everything over to them. You might have a somewhat automated system to where, so for example, if it's a custom thing, maybe you have to print that art, or not print it. You have to create that art. So it's like, you need to put the name on there or the date on there or whatever, and then upload that or attach that somehow to the order. Yeah. Or if you are selling more kind of evergreen things that don't change, they're not customizable. Maybe you have a sheet like we talked about a few episodes back that has like all of your SKUs with all of your art links. And so anytime this SKU sells, this is what the art is. And then you just have to tell them what the product it's going on, So that's the drop shipping example, but that's kind of the production flow from that perspective. For in-house production, it can be a little different. Josiah, how do you guys handle the in-house production?
Yeah. So typically what we'll do is, and we'll talk about ShipStation shortly, kind of jumping ahead there, but we have all the orders kind of poured into a system, ShipStation. Then we take the order summaries and we print them out and we give them to our production team. And what we'll do is they'll go ahead and pick all of the inventory for that set of order sheets, or order summaries. Mm-hmm. So, starting from the last page, stack all the inventory that you're going to need and then get going. And the art is saved. We have client folders, so they know if it's an Amazon, it's an AMZ, and then it's the design name. If it's farm to table creations, it's FTTC, then the design name. So they know how to search it when it comes through. And then once that's all done, we move it in. We, of course, create a batch in ShipStation, put the number on there. So when everything's produced, we'll go back, print the labels out, attach them, and then the shipping department will go ahead and just start packaging and shipping everything. That's from a Deco Network perspective, like we talked about Deco Network a few weeks back. Deco Network's a little bit different. We'll still print the order summaries from ShipStation, but the production team follows along in Deco. They pull it up on a screen, and they just download the art that is with the order, because Deco Network actually keeps the art file with the order through every stage of the process, basically. So, but that's how we do it here in house. Order summaries. Yeah. How about you? What's your fulfillment process for you guys over there at Make Your Mark? How do you guys get everything done in house there?
It's pretty similar to what you guys do. So with some of our stuff, a lot of times we'll use packing slips instead of order summaries. Sure. So we'll print a pick list similar to you. So they pick all the stuff, and then they have the packing slip that actually shows what this particular, what color it is, what size it is, what product it is. And so we have a server that we access that has all of our print files on it and has all of our shipping information on it. All of those things are kind of on the server. And so each of our operators from our different departments will go in. They get all of the shipping information, so they know, and the pick list and everything. And then they have in the other folder for the print files, they have like what it is, who it's for, and what the print file is. So each of those things, and then they load up, 4, 5, 6, if it's DTG, in the queue and start printing. And they like you said, they stack them from the back, and they might pre-treat all of them and then start printing, one after the other. It just moves down the line. Typically we pack kind of as we make them, because if we waited until we made everything, we wouldn't have any room, particularly with sublimation and, drinkware and stuff. Yeah. So we kind of have to pack as we go. We do, like you said, we do them in batches. So we might not print right now, I think in ShipStation, I've got several hundred orders, and this on Saturday at noon. So on Monday, I'm not going to print out 300 orders, and that's just for stuff I'm fulfilling. That's just sublimation. That doesn't count all my other clients and stuff. But I'm not going to print 300 orders right then. Sure. We'll do them in batches of, maybe we'll do all like 50 11s, and then we'll do 50 15-ounce mugs, and then we'll do all of the multiple orders, and we'll batch them out kind of like that. But it's not only a mixed bag depending on the business model. I think it's a mixed bag depending on your, how many departments you have, how many orders you have, how many, like what your layout of your actual facility is. There's just a lot that goes into kind of deciding how you're going to produce this stuff in-house, because it definitely affects your next step, your fulfillment part, your packaging and your labeling. We were talking earlier, with the COVID shortages of apparel, it also applies to boxes. We've had some shortages on some boxes that we've been using for coffee mugs and drinkware and things. And so we've had to pivot. There
it is again.
There it is again.
Sound effect.
We've had to pivot from what we've used in the past and find new boxes, which means that you've got to then kind of do some drop tests. You got to, how many things of bubble wrap am I going to use? Am I going to use packing peanuts or not? Or whatever the thing is for you, you got to figure it all out again, because it's a new system.
Yeah.
And so you always got to kind of be flexible.
Yeah. We're talking about, it's hard to find something that will not break your stuff and also not break your bank account. And you have to find that happy medium of affordable, because there's some stuff that it's like, oh man, this is awesome. Look at this styrofoam packaging. Like I got a mug from Steven Crowder. I ordered a mug, and the packaging it came in was super cool. And I was like, man, this is awesome. We should look at it. And then it's like, well, that's actually kind of expensive, and I'm not sure why they're doing it that way. Like, that's really pricey. It's safe, but it's also very expensive. So there is that happy medium. You and I think you still use Todd, right, for your box
from
making
New Way
needs.
Packaging.
New Way Packaging. He's awesome. We have our manufacturer, and so it's a good relationship to have, and it's again something you don't necessarily always think about.
Right. Yeah, because I mean that does obviously roll into the fulfillment portion of the order flow management.
Right.
What kind of packaging are you going to use? But you still got to get this, because you got to get this product to the end customer.
Sure.
And so there's a few things that you can use. We mentioned ShipStation earlier, and we'll talk more about that because there's a whole lot of cool things we want to share about that.
Yeah.
But if you're just using, if you're drop shipping, you don't necessarily need ShipStation because you can use the marketplace fulfillment. So if you're on Amazon, there's Amazon Buy Shipping. If you're on Etsy, there's Etsy Shipping. If you're on Shopify, there's Shopify Shipping. Yeah, there's all of these marketplace, kind of integrated into the marketplace. So if you want to every day go, open up 5 channels, and use that particular marketplace shipping, you can do that. You could also use a company called Pirate Ship, which not a lot of people have heard about. But
I heard about them today because you brought them to my attention. But
I have some friends that use that because they're not doing a lot of orders. They don't necessarily need ShipStation. Pirate Ship is free. It's the other one is Stamps.com, and I think from what I can gather, I've not used Pirate Ship, but from what I can gather, it's a direct competitor to Stamps.com. Yeah. But I could be wrong there. But from what I understand, they're really great. They've got good rates, and it's really an easy interface to navigate. Yeah. But you could also use those if you didn't want to use the marketplace fulfillment. But then for a monthly fee, you can kind of move up the chain and use ShipStation, which does tie to your Stamps.com account. Right. And so basically when you buy shipping in ShipStation, it just debits, it basically buys it in Stamps.com in the back end.
Yep. And it's something that if you're selling, you're not drop shipping, maybe, and you're still selling on the Etsy's and the Walmarts and the Shopify's, and you have a lot of different platforms. ShipStation just brings those all together in one place, as opposed to going to Shopify and using their Buy Shipping and Amazon's Buy Shipping and Walmart's Buy Shipping. This just kind of consolidates all of that into one spot and makes it really easy to see what sold, where it sold, and you can just print it all and print out the pick list or the packing slips or what have you, and it's all in one place at one time. Tell us a little bit, Travis, because you were telling me before we recorded, because in my situation, I have a couple clients that are doing Shopify stores. I think I have 3 or 4 clients that are doing Shopify stores. And at the moment, I'm doing the painstaking process of logging into the back end of each of them and grabbing the stuff that we're supposed to fulfill, which is doable, but it's not efficient. So it's one of those work smarter, not harder. Yeah, it's one of those work smarter, not harder things that we're talking about here. But you can set a lot of rules in ShipStation from different platforms, from different stores to say, hey, don't import this, only import this if it matches these criteria. So tell us a little bit about those rules that ShipStation has to offer, because it's very interesting to see kind of the minutia that you can get down into when you're on ShipStation.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, ShipStation is like you just said, it's an incredibly robust tool. It's very, very beneficial, I think, to somebody who's doing their own production. And it's tiered in such a way that it's not super expensive if you're not shipping a lot of things, and you still get pretty much all of the functionality that you would get with, a higher tiered account, or, you're paying more monthly or whatever. But like you alluded to, so what it does, it takes all of these different channels that you're selling from and brings them into one place. And so on the left side of ShipStation, you've got your on your orders section, you've got all of your different channels, and it lists them right there. And so if you're doing all of your own, you might see Etsy, you might see Amazon, you might see Walmart, you might see Shopify. If you have a couple Shopify stores, you might have Shopify 1, Shopify 2, whatever. But if you have, like you guys are doing, clients that have Shopify stores, you can also tie them in there, which is super, super cool. And you can use these automation rules, which is amazing when what the problem that we're trying to solve with these automation rules is like, well, hey, I want you to fulfill all of my T-shirts, but I make this little thing that I sell and I make it myself. I don't want you to fulfill that because I make that. Can you just fulfill my T-shirts? Well, of course I can. Right. And then through automation rules, you can go in there, say, I want to import this Shopify store, and then I want to create a rule that selects that particular marketplace. So let's call it Shopify 1. So the marketplace, so I'm even looking at the actual rule right here. It says this test rule or this Shopify rule, whatever you want to call it, only apply these actions to every order that matches specific criteria. So the marketplace equals Shopify 1. Then you have item SKU that I can, so the next criteria that it has to meet, the item SKU equals, and I can just do that for all of the SKUs, or I could say the item SKU starts with, or the item SKU ends with, and I can put like if it's a T-shirt, the item SKU starts with TS or something like that, to where all of their SKUs that start with TS are going to be then moved to the next section of the rules. And so you can say, as orders are imported, apply the following criteria. And one of the things you can do is you can say, don't import it. Do not import the order if it doesn't start with whatever or whatever. So it's very robust. And that's just like one part of ShipStation that I think is really cool. But in your case, it's going to come in super handy because you've got all of these clients that have their own Shopify stores. You can import them all.
And actually, I'm looking here as well, and at the create a rule section, and it looks like you can do the only apply these actions to orders that match specific criteria. You add the criteria. There's actually a store that you can pick, and then you can pick like you said, a specific store. So now I can open up in my list, all of these stores that we fulfill for. I can apply which store I want it to adhere to or not. So which is something that I wasn't aware of. I just use ShipStation to process orders and print out the order summaries, and do all of that stuff. But not necessarily have I ever figured into drilling it down so finely that makes my life easier. But hey, that's what technology is supposed to be.
And as we kind of move down the chain of fulfillment or move up the chain, I don't know.
Whichever that means. Do you know, by the way, pricing wise, if people are looking at ShipStation, do you know what the pricing is?
Yeah, I can quick find that, the Google machine there. I want to say it starts at like $19.99 is like the cheapest one. Do you have it pulled up there?
Yeah, if you go to pricing here, a starter is $9 a month, and it looks like it's tiered by the number of shipments that you're going to do in a month. And, of course, you get more users. So it starts at $9 a month for 50 shipments per month. And you can add, your own logo to labels and packing slips, so on and so forth. Then it goes to $29 for 500 shipments, $49 for 1,500, $69 for 3,000. So the cool thing is that it grows as you grow. Is the cool thing. So if you're only doing less than 50 shipments a month, you can pay that $10. You'll be making that $10 back in the stuff that
in time saved.
Right, and in time saved, and as you grow and you start, now I'm selling 100. Okay, cool. Now it's $29 a month, and so as you get more orders, you get more income, you get more profit. You're justifying the raise in expense for ShipStation. So it's really cool that they've tiered it in that way.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'll say about that way of growth is, I always say, you want to build now for where you want to be. Sure. And so if you get in on the $10 a month plan and you only have 50 orders that you're sending out a month, first of all, don't despise small beginnings. That's awesome. But what you'll find yourself doing is you'll start learning more about ShipStation and tweaking perhaps some of your internal systems to where it works better with the way you're using ShipStation. And so when you start having 100, 200, 500, 2,000 orders, you will have grown organically to where ShipStation is just kind of a part of what you do. And your SKU structure and the way it's all organized is very intuitive to the way you do business. So $10, man, that's really, really cheap and a great way to get started with, in my opinion, one of the most critical tools if you're doing your own production.
100%.
In-house, yeah. So the next step up from ShipStation, well, it's not a step up. It's kind of something that you could also use, in particular in your scenario. It's something that I'm looking into. It's a software called Orderdesk. And, of course, there's plenty of other softwares out there that kind of have similar functionality. I've been on the other side of Orderdesk where I've been a customer of when I was doing drop shipping. Right. The company that I was using used Orderdesk, and it was incredibly beneficial to me because what Orderdesk – so the problem that you're trying to solve with Orderdesk is that if you're doing what you're doing with multiple clients and you're bringing them all into your ShipStation, they don't have any visibility necessarily into what they're shipping and what the tracking is, unless they send you an email and say, hey, when did this ship? How does that, or, I mean, it can go back to their, it will eventually make its way back to their channel and they can look it up there. But in that middle time, there's really no visibility into what's going on with their products. With Orderdesk, you give your clients basically a portal that they can look at their own orders. They can get information. The other thing is they can attach artwork to their orders. So let's say you have a customer that does a ton of custom stuff on Etsy. Right. Well, every morning them or their VA can log in and upload the custom artwork to each order. And so then it'll tag it. You can tell it when this particular person does something from Orderdesk or this SKU or whatever comes over into my ShipStation, tag it like this. And then you can see, this has a black tag. That means I go to Orderdesk for the artwork. There it is. There's a lot of benefits to Orderdesk beyond that, that I don't know out of the business side, because I was like a client that was using it, but it was very, very handy. And I was able to, at one point I had uploaded a spreadsheet that basically mapped all of my SKUs to my art files. So whenever I would sell something, I didn't have to touch it at all. The art link would attach itself to the order in Orderdesk. Then it would push it over to my drop shipper's ShipStation or whatever platform they used for internal fulfillment. And the operator who was making my product had the art file right there attached to it. I never touched it. It was really, really cool. Yeah. So that's kind of the next step up, I think, in a fulfillment company's, or at least in my fulfillment company's dream.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you, is this something, because I've looked into this, obviously, because I know with our situation, I'm trying to find something that is suitable to help with what we're doing. But let me ask you, is this something that you add or that you use in conjunction with a ShipStation, or can you process all the orders from Orderdesk itself? You have to have both. So Orderdesk basically allows me to give my client a portal. They can connect all the platforms that they're selling on, and then they push it to my ShipStation, or whatever they say is to be pushed is pushed. Is that am I understanding that correctly? So it's not an either or, it's a both and type scenario.
Yeah. So Orderdesk doesn't have any internal shipping. It doesn't tie to stamps.com, or it doesn't have any buy shipping ability. Okay. But the benefit that you get, the benefit I think that you get is, let's say you have 10 clients and all of them have 5 different channels that they sell on. That's 50 channels or 50 stores that you have pushed into your ShipStation. If you use Orderdesk, that's only 10 channels, because does that make sense? Because you would tie them to Orderdesk to all filter into Orderdesk in that particular customer's store or order desk account, and then you would port order desk into your ship station, so you would have one place to get all of their stuff instead of 5 different stores inside of your ship station.
Okay.
So it keeps your clients organized as well.
Yeah, and so from the order desk portion, they push any orders to the because from what I understand, order desk is like an umbrella. We would be the umbrella, and then under the umbrella is all these different clients that we're offering or giving access to what they're able to see, or orders to import. When they send it to us, it would just then automatically show up on our ship station. So that and the benefit of it, aside from because like you said, I guess you could technically go in and add all 5 platforms and add specific rules for all 5 platforms. But again, it's labor intensive. But the benefit that you're seeing, that you're saying for order desk, is that now my client has visibility to see the tracking, when it's shipped, all that stuff. They don't have to ask me.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that you don't have to necessarily set rules for all of those different stores. You just set the rules for that one order desk, because most people are selling, they're selling this T-shirt with the same SKU on Amazon and the same SKU on Etsy. It's the same thing. So if it comes into their fulfillment partner, or we don't care what the SKU is, or which place they sold it. It's just going to be, it's the same shirt or the same mug or the same picture or whatever it is. We're just printing it. We don't necessarily care which fulfillment channel they actually sold the product on.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's something, again, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it from the customer side, and it was very beneficial to me. And so it makes me excited as I bring on customers. I want to figure that out for them. So it's, so it makes sense for them, and so that they can benefit. And I think it makes onboarding a little easier, because it's going to be the exact same things, the same process for every single person we onboard, to have their own order desk and so we'll see how it goes, and we'll see, maybe we can do an update after we, kind of delve into this a little further and understand it a little more. Of course, there's going to be limitations. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be frustrations. There's going to be, well, why doesn't it do this? And, but that's what software does, or that's what software is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm interested as well. And that's something that I'm trying to wrap my mind around, for the clients that we have. So I feel like that'll be interesting to do updates and kind of bounce ideas off each other, because I think that is something that is important. If you are a drop shipper that has, or a fulfillment partner that has multiple people using your services, this seems like a good way to do it. And pricing wise, just pulling it up here real quick, it looks like the starter is $12 a month plus 25 cents per order, up to 3 integrations, 1 user. And then it goes to $40 a month plus 5 cents an order, unlimited integrations, unlimited users, and then 100 months plus $100 a month is the plus version, plus 3 cents an order, unlimited integrations, unlimited pro stores. So I understand that to mean that they charge 3 cents or 5 cents per order on top of the monthly fee, basically. Yeah.
So again, kind of a grow with you as you get bigger. It's a cool software. I'm excited to kind of delve into it and hopefully understand more about what it does. So back to the order management flow.
That was a educational rabbit hole that we just went
well.
That was good.
But it definitely is part of that, that order flow. And it's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit more, get a little bit more in depth about what ShipStation can do. And part of that order desk conversation is like where I plan to go. And so, it's good to get it out there into the universe. And, you guys can, like we were talking about last week with goals, you can kind of keep me accountable on how that goes.
Yep.
So the next step is kind of the, it's on the way to the customer. There's tracking that's involved. There's the inevitable customer service question. Where's my stuff? There's the potential for a refund, or, hey, my item broke, or, there's a hole in this shirt, or whatever. So to take us through kind of what you guys do on the customer service side of the order flow management. Sure. And then maybe I'll chime in if I have, differing or similar, things that we do.
Sure thing. So, tracking the customer is easy enough because either through Deco or through ShipStation, as soon as it sells, if there's an email attached to that order that they put on there, it'll send tracking to them and let them know that their order has shipped, which is awesome. There are some instances with manual orders and stuff. You have to kind of send it to them manually, which isn't hard to do. Returns and refunds is interesting. As a print-on-demand company that's only printing what sells, we oftentimes from our clients, not to say that not talking about Amazon and those kind of places, but we don't really, like the people on Deco, we don't do a lot of returns because we don't really have a need for that shirt anymore. So if they want to return it, it's like, well, we'll give you a refund if you don't want it, if it's within 30 days, but we don't really need that shirt again.
Returnless refunds, basically, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so, or if they need to, hey, if it was our mistake, hey, or like with one of our clients, they ordered a Texas T-shirt. Well, the Texas one that they ordered, the design was slightly different. They ordered the Longhorn design, not the state outline design. So it's like, okay, that was our bad. We'll replace it for you. We'll send you the correct shirt. But keep the bad one. We don't need it. We don't need that anymore. It's just not cost effective to send you a return label and then we're sitting with a shirt that we don't ever know if it's if it sells again, great. If not, what do we do with it? Yeah. So refunds we do, within 30 days, especially if it was there's a hole in my shirt or it arrived damaged or it looks like it's scorched or whatever. Then sure, refund and then we'll replace. But we don't do a lot of returns. Just because the business model doesn't really lend itself to a return. If it was hard goods that we had in stock that, we sold a lot of, what have you, it's a little bit different. But what we're doing now, just returns aren't really needed. But how about you guys? Is it similar, I assume, since you guys are doing the print-on-demand thing too, that returns aren't really needed, but refunds, of course, you offer within a certain timeline and meeting certain criteria.
Yeah, it's the same basic stuff that you're talking about. Amazon recently introduced where they automatic authorizations on returns. It used to be when they would send, they would say, hey, I want to return this mug or, it's damaged or whatever. They would request an authorization and then I'd have to go in and manually approve it or disapprove. So before I would approve it, I would answer the email and say, oh, we're so sorry. You obviously don't need to return this. It's broken. We don't need it. Right. We're happily going to replace that, or we'll give you a refund. Let us know what you choose. And so, half of them would say, send me another one. And half of them would say, just give me a refund. But that avoided us, having to pay for return shipping, similar to you. Now, I don't like the way Amazon does it now, because if I don't see that automatic return authorization, I may get back a broken mug or a shirt that, I don't care about it. And I actually pay for that return shipping. I'm like, why do I want a broken mug? There's absolutely no reason. And then they're going to debit the refund. So it's like a double doink.
Double whammy. Yeah, double doink.
It's a double whammy, So that's on Amazon. So most of the time I have certain templates that are for, hey, where is my item? It hasn't showed up, but, I go check the tracking and it's delivered. I have a template for that, hey, you need to check with your apartment manager if you have an apartment, ask if anyone else received it in the household, check with your postal service, talk to your delivery carrier. It's basically a template that I send, and then I just wait to hear from them and see. Honestly, probably I would say on those, we're obviously seeing more porch pirates these days, but I would say probably 80% of the people that say, hey, where's my stuff? And the tracking shows it was delivered. 80% of the time they find it. and they're like, "Oh, hey, I found this. My neighbor picked it up and gave it to me, or it was in my apartment manager's place or whatever."
Yeah.
So most of the time, that's what's going on, and so having those templates handy is kind of a pro tip, I think. So you're not typing out the same information every single time. You just copy and paste some basic details from the order, like, is this your order number? Is this your actual shipping address? And here's your tracking when you and then you're just sending that off to them. The other pro tip, I think, is like outsourcing that if you can. If you do have a lot of things going on with, on different channels, specifically to Amazon and Walmart, I get a lot of questions and things like that. You guys, I know you do sell on Amazon and Walmart, but most of your sales are more like you're not talking to the end customer about that. You're talking to the one who sold it to the end customer. And so that would be more of your customer service, I would think, than what I'm talking about with the channels and the actual end customers emailing me directly.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of times I work with our clients that are sometimes middlemen, like you're saying, like, hey, this person has a question. With Deco Network, though, if there's a question that is thrown, like, where's my stuff, to a store that one of our clients has, I'm copied on it automatically, so I can actually go in and say, hey, sorry about that. Here, this is what the tracking says. Or, hey, my shirt arrived with a hole in it. I intercept a lot of those because I'm copied just from the system settings, so I can answer directly to the end user a lot of times.
Gotcha.
But with regards to people off of Deco, like our Etsy clients or our Shopify clients, they will reach out to me and say, hey, this person has a question about where this is at, or I'm getting asked about the ETA on this package. Can we check the tracking? Can you look into this for me? That kind of thing. And so it's a mixed bag of both, but depending on the platform that it's coming from, I guess. Be it Deco, where I talk more directly to end users, or off Deco, where it's more talking to the client as the middleman, for lack of a better term. So
I think obviously the goal probably for most fulfillment centers should be to ultimately eventually outsource as much customer service as you can.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is kind of templated copy and paste stuff that pretty much anyone could do. It's just taking the time to put those templates together and train someone. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, do the other thing. And if you can't figure it out, email me.
If they need tracking, go find it here. If the shirt's damaged, send me an email. Put a new order in ShipStation or something like that.
Exactly.
To where it's just automated. So that's, again, it can be time intensive up front to make those templates, but it's a life and time saver on the back end, especially during Q4 and you're moving a lot of volume, and an email comes in that you might miss because you're on the production floor or you're trying to get something done for a client or what have you, and there's so many fires to put out. The more people you can recruit to be on your firefighting team, the better.
I think we should have an episode on virtual assistants. I
was just going to say that. Like, let's talk about VAs and kind of peel back the curtain, because a lot of people that I talk to, I say VAs and they don't know if it's like a venereal something, like is this a weird
something.
Club? Is it a venereal association? Because I don't want to be a part of it. What is it? So I think we should do one on VAs. Why they're amazing. Why it's good for them. Why they love working for people like you and I and the people listening. So I think I think we just came up with our next podcast topic.
I'm totally down. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Josiah, anything else on order flow management and kind of getting the order in and getting the product out and getting it to a happy customer at the end?
Man, no, I think, this episode, I think has been more of a long form deep dive about this particular subject. I feel like we covered a lot of ground on it, which is good. Something that needed to kind of be, like you said, talked about in depth. But it's important just to get these things nailed down. There's always going to be hiccups. There's going to be stuff that doesn't work. It looked good on paper, practically implemented doesn't really work that well flow-wise, so you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to pivot. I think we should make that a shirt for our show, just pivot. I don't think it's copyrighted. I don't think you can do that. We'll have to ask Ken, have him on the show when we launch it. See what he says. But yeah, not a whole lot other than when you're throwing that package against the wall in disgust, just don't aim for anything expensive is all I'm saying. Don't hit a printer. Don't hit an employee. Just go for a blank wall that doesn't have glass next to it, basically. So, Travis, anything from you as we kind of tie this episode up?
No, I think, like you said, don't hit anybody, because this time of year you can sure feel like wanting to.
It turned into a workman's comp issue pretty quickly, I feel. So, all right. Well, with that, we are going to wrap this episode up. I think, just recording it, I think one of my favorite episodes that we've put out there so far. I'm interested to hear the feedback from you, the listener. So let us know, as always, what you think. And you can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Google, Apple, Spotify. Go to printondemandcast.com to find the show. Email Travis or myself at info@printondemandcast.com. Let us know if there's something in your order flow that we didn't talk about, something that's changed your life that we need to know about to share with you guys. Let us know. If you hit someone on accident with that package, let us know that too. Tell us a story. Maybe we'll have it on the show. But as always, rate on iTunes, and please subscribe. Helps our analytics, helps us get into the right people's hands that need this information. So with that, for Josiah, for Travis, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time right here on the Print on Demand Cast.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next week.